Hi friends. Every time you open your mouth, you're casting a vote for the life you want or the life you fear. Most people speak their problems and wonder why they keep growing. But what if I told you the words you're using are designing your future, sentence by sentence? If you want to change your life, don't start with your habits. Start with your language. Because when you change your words, you begin to change your world. Words are powerful instruments, not just for communication, but for transformation. The words we speak are not simply expressions of what we think. They shape what we think. When you begin to pay close attention to the language you use daily, you'll notice something extraordinary. Your words are either reinforcing your limitations or expanding your possibilities. What you speak is what you seek. If you constantly speak in terms of doubt, fear, or failure, those words begin to condition your mind. Say, "I can't catch a break," long enough, and soon your eyes will only recognize hardship. Say, "Nothing ever works out for me," and you'll find yourself unconsciously sabotaging opportunities that could have taken you higher. On the other hand, shift your language to possibility, and your perspective begins to shift too. Say, "Something good is coming out of this," and suddenly the mind begins to scan for lessons, for opportunity, for growth. Words create focus, and focus creates reality. When someone says, "I'm always tired," that statement reinforces a pattern of fatigue. The body listens to the words. But what if the language changed to, "I'm getting stronger every day"? The mind starts to look for proof, and slowly the body starts to respond. The change doesn't happen instantly, but direction is more important than speed. Words set the direction. This is why paying attention to your inner and outer dialogue is one of the most important disciplines you can develop. Most people never realize they're programming themselves for mediocrity with casual phrases like, "I'm just not good at that," or "That's just the way I am." Every time we say these things, we reaffirm a fixed identity and limit growth. But switch it to, "I'm improving," or "I'm figuring it out," and suddenly the brain is on a mission to validate progress rather than confirm failure. Even how you describe your day matters. Say, "I had a terrible day," and your memory focuses on everything that went wrong. Say instead, "It was a challenging day, but I handled it the best I could," and you've reframed it in a way that builds your resilience and self-esteem. The situation didn't change, the words did. And because the words changed, your interpretation changed. And that changes everything. Your words influence not only your own world, but the world of those around you. Speak encouragement and you'll often see others rise. Speak defeat, and you might watch someone shrink. What we say matters more than we think, because language is not just descriptive, it's creative. Every phrase you repeat becomes part of your identity. So choose words that support the life you want, not the life you fear. Speak with intention. Speak with purpose. Speak possibility, and you'll begin to live in possibility. Language is not just a way to express your reality. It's a tool to shape it. The way you describe your situation becomes the framework through which your mind interprets it. Many people speak about their lives using words of limitation, without realizing that those very words are closing doors that could be open. When someone says, "I'm broke," they're not just stating a fact, they're reinforcing an identity. They're cementing a state of lack and scarcity, making it feel permanent. But what if that phrase was replaced with something more empowering like, "I'm pre-rich," or "I'm in a season of building"? Suddenly, the mind receives a different message. One implies that the current financial state is the end of the road. The other implies it's part of a journey. The words may seem small, but the mindset they activate is profoundly different. One creates discouragement. The other sparks momentum. The words you use influence how you feel about yourself. Say, "I can't afford that," and you might feel shame or powerlessness. Say, "That's not in my budget right now because I'm focused on bigger goals," and suddenly you've turned a limitation into a decision. You've moved from victim to architect, And that subtle shift can make all the difference in how you approach your finances, your career, and your life. It's easy to fall into the trap of casual negativity. Phrases like, "I'm always unlucky," or "nothing ever goes right for." We might feel like emotional relief in the moment, but they also become self-fulfilling prophecies. The subconscious mind doesn't question your words, it simply obeys them. Say something enough times and your brain starts finding ways to prove it true. If you speak in terms of struggle, your mind becomes trained to look for more struggle. But if you speak in terms of learning, growth, and potential, the mind gets busy looking for opportunities. Think about the impact this shift can have in everyday life. When facing a setback, you can say, "I failed," or you can say, "I learned what not to do." Both describe the same event. But the second keeps the door open for future success. It keeps your identity intact and your confidence alive. It allows you to keep moving forward instead of getting stuck in regret. The way you talk about yourself to others also plays a role. If you introduce yourself as someone who's struggling, that's how people see you. And more importantly, how you begin to see yourself. But if you describe yourself as someone who's on a path of growth or someone who's building something, that becomes your new narrative. And the more you speak that way, the more it feels true, until one day, it is. Words are not neutral. They are investments. Every phrase you choose is either buying into the future you want or into the fear you want to leave behind. Being intentional with your language isn't just about being positive. It's about being aligned with who you're becoming. Every word we speak is like a seed. Plant the right ones, and over time they grow into habits, attitudes, and even life outcomes. It's easy to overlook how much our language shapes our reality, but the truth is that every sentence is either nourishing the life we want or feeding the life we fear. Just as a farmer doesn't plant thorns and expect roses, we cannot speak defeat and expect victory. Our words are creative. They form the blueprint for what our minds believe and our actions follow. Consider how often people unknowingly plant weeds in the garden of their lives. They say things like, "I'm always stressed," or "I'm not lucky like other people." These phrases don't just describe a moment, they reinforce a pattern. And once those seeds take root, they start growing into attitudes, choices, and expectations. Before long, what was once a passing thought becomes a fixed belief. What began as a casual complaint becomes a self-fulfilling cycle. On the other hand, when you choose your words carefully, when you speak hope, possibility, and strength, you begin to cultivate a different kind of environment within yourself. Saying, "I'm getting stronger" instead of "I'm falling apart" doesn't deny the challenge. It just positions you to grow from it. It tells your mind to start looking for ways to heal, to rebuild, to rise. And the more consistently you speak that way, the more your actions begin to reflect that mindset. The beauty of this idea is that it doesn't require your circumstances to change first. You don't need everything to be perfect to begin speaking powerfully. In fact, the most important time to be intentional with your words is when things feel uncertain. That's when the seeds of belief matter most. Speak what you want to grow, even if you don't see it yet. Speak clarity when you're confused. Speak peace when you're anxious. Speak progress when you feel stuck. Words have the ability to pull you forward even when you can't yet see the path. This doesn't mean pretending everything is fine when it's not. It means choosing words that build rather than break, that elevate rather than diminish. It's the difference between saying "this is too hard" and saying "this is stretching me." Both may be true, but only one invites growth. Only one turns adversity into a classroom instead of a prison. Your environment responds to your energy, and your energy is often set by your language. Speak encouragement into your day, and you're more likely to show up with strength. Speak gratitude, and you'll begin to notice more reasons to be grateful. Speak determination, and you'll find that your actions become more consistent. Over time, those small verbal seeds grow into a mindset that no longer waits for life to change. It becomes the force that changes life. Your words are not just sounds, they are signals. They tell your mind what to believe, your heart what to feel, and your life what to become. So from this moment forward, speak like your future is listening, because it is. Speak powerfully, speak intentionally, speak possibility, and watch the world around you begin to shift. Change your words, and you'll change everything.